results in a whole lot of bank failures next year as property owners default on their loans. So, what we've got is we've got something like $1.5 trillion of commercial property loans coming due. And these property owners, they're being hit on two sides. The one is that more people are working at least part of the week from home, so the vacancies are through the roof. We haven't seen vacancies like this in a long while. And then they're also getting hit by high interest rates that when they refinance, when they roll over their loans, they borrowed that money really cheaply, and now they're having to pay a high interest rate. So they're getting very squeezed. And I'm not sure that the Fed is taking that fully on board. That what my view is that in much the same way as the Fed was too loose for too long, now it's being too tight for too long. And, we are likely to get a hard landing next year.
Yeah. And so as you look at kind of the dual components to that, so you walked us through kind of the commercial real estate sector there. We talked a little bit at the beginning in terms of the regional banks, kind of that panic. And, of course, those are often interconnected in terms of some of those loans that you were referring to that'll get rolled over. But talk to us in terms of is there any path that gets us to a little softer landing? Because it does seem to me that we're still coming in pretty hot and heavy, and this may be a tough bounce for a lot of citizens and small businesses in particular in the new year.
Yeah, well, they could have engineered a soft landing had they begun cutting interest rates earlier than they're doing. Now what they need to do is they need to cut interest rates as aggressively as they raised interest rates. So they've got a meeting coming up in 10 days' time, something like the 17th of September, 17th and 18th. And they're probably cutting interest rates by 25 basis points, but really what they should be doing is cutting interest rates by 50 basis points. I should add that their task is really very difficult now because there's an added wrinkle, is that there's the election coming up and the economic policies of both candidates aren't what one would desire. So they're not very responsible, particularly if we have Trump coming in and jacking up import tariffs on China by 60% and by the rest of the world by 10 to 20%, and we get a trade war, then we're in a different ball game. So the Fed is really facing a huge amount